Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. I'm your host, PattSun, and today we're going to be taking a look at r/cheating stories, where OP's girlfriend actually thought he was going to take her back after lying and cheating on him. Let's begin. My girlfriend of 20 years cheated on me. Posted by Reddit user normalflamingo6351.
She worked at an assisted living facility. Decided to take on a part-time gig as an in-home aide for this dude in a wheelchair. He wanted out of the facility, but he needed an aide. She went through the entire hiring process and got him moved into his apartment without ever mentioning anything about it to me. It wasn't until she didn't come home until 3 in the morning and I flipped out about how she had been missing in action all day that she finally told me what she was doing. I couldn't believe that it was platonic, so I asked to see her messages to the guy. Everything was deleted. I expressed my suspicions about her infidelity and was told that it wasn't like that. A few days later, I asked to look at her phone again. This time, I found a hidden page of apps and opened Snapchat. She had been saving all of their messages going back the past 6 months. It was bad, like heart-stopping bad. I would go to work overnight. And she would stay up sending him lingerie and pussy pictures. Also, their chats proved that they had been intimate and in love. This is when she claimed that it's not like that anymore. I took the fuse for the fuel pump out of my car that she was driving and asked her to leave the home that I had bought for us. Gave her a 60-day notice to get her shit out. She signed over custody of our 12-year-old son and was happy to get only every other weekend visitation. She moved into her mom's house for a while before eventually moving into the dude's apartment. Fast forward to January of this year 2022, the dude dies, she gets less than 2 weeks to get moved back into her mom's house. And come to find out that she had quit her full-time job at the assisted living facility 2 months prior, relying on the money she was getting paid to be her boyfriend's in-home aide. So yeah, she's 40 years old, single, unemployed, living with her mommy. Meanwhile, I've since met my best friend, soulmate, and have gotten engaged. Cheaters never win.
And then, OP gave us more details down in the comments.
Good game, karma, and life. Does she show regret over her choices? Regret like trying to get back with me? In the beginning, before her 60-day notice was up, she was always acting really pitiful and had this woe is me attitude. She never came like groveling back, but in her own way, she made it clear that she thought I was just being mean to punish her and that I would eventually get back with her. She had it all, a house, a car, a family, a fucking dog for Christ's sake, that she threw all away so she could have her cake and eat it too, all with a guy that literally had nothing better to do than to just sit there and tell her how beautiful she was and how much he loved her. She knows she fucked up a good thing, and I'm sure that her bitterness towards me now is a result of that. LOL. You are punishing her for her cheating. When you got engaged, she said nothing about it. Not a word about the engagement, but I've been asking about the possibility of her paying child support without a court order. For whatever reason, she is deathly afraid of going to court, partly the reason why she agreed with having a stipulated order. Just so she wouldn't have to go in front of a judge, and she tentatively agreed that she would pay once she goes back to work, hence me finding out that she had quit her full-time job.
Absolutely awesome, OP. I'm glad that you are now living a great life. It's never a happy experience when someone's marriage or relationship fails, but I commend you for sticking to your guns and knowing your self-worth. So many people give their unfaithful partners weeks and sometimes even months of chances to make things right. Begging, crying, I made a mistake, it won't happen ever again. You know, that kind of thing. And worse comes to worse, they take the cheater back. And then they complain when they get cheated on again. And of course, the victims of infidelity are the one that usually does the most work, suffers the most from the heartbreak, and in the end, the hurt and betrayal are just too much to continue. Thank you for not being a simp, OP. Best of luck to you and wishing you a happy, drama-free rest of your life. And now for today's second story. Married for 19 years before my wife cheated on me. Posted by Reddit user feelingcharge5419.
This is my first time on Reddit. I'll be 75 this July and I've seen a lot of things. I wanted to share my story with the younger generation before I die, quite frankly. I have lung cancer and I don't expect to be around much longer, so this information needs to get out there. I got married when I was 18 in 1964. It feels like I'm not even the same person anymore. I used to be in good physical shape, and now I'm stuck in a wheelchair. My wife and I both had to work full-time since I didn't have the income to support both of us. I worked in construction and she cleaned hotel rooms. We never had any kids, and we still had time to ourselves on the weekends. I don't think we ever argued, but this was so long ago I'm losing details. Though, and we didn't have any issues getting along. Over the years, I started to make more money, and she was able to quit her job and stay at home. I would work longer nights though, and our marriage turned more into friendship honestly. We rarely had sex, and although I still loved her, I felt like it was different. We didn't spend enough time together towards the end. I take the blame for leading us down the wrong road with my job. As you will read later on, this wasn't the only issue, but still I should have addressed this situation while I still could have. One night, I get back from work, and at first everything seems normal. Dinner was ready, and we had the TV set to baseball, my favorite back in the day. I talked to her in the kitchen for a little and went to my room to change out of my work clothes. When I went in there, I found a box of condoms on my nightstand. I started to panic because I had a vasectomy years before this and never used condoms. I immediately asked my wife about them, and she couldn't think of an explanation in time. She started crying and came clean about the cheating. She invited her friend from work over for sex while I was out and apparently forgot to get rid of the condoms. I'm not ashamed to admit I was crying as well after hearing that. I tried to find out why she did this, and she said she just wasn't attracted to me, was lonely, and never enjoyed our sex. I didn't know what to say and ended up leaving. We got divorced after 19 years of being married. In my 40s I was a disaster. I lost all confidence and motivation to go on. I started drinking and eventually became an alcoholic. It took me until my 60s to kick this habit. I couldn't look myself in the mirror while thinking I was a failure of a man. I wanted to date again, but I just thought the same would happen again. It never occurred to me that I was bad in bed, and I really didn't have any good answers. My skin started to wrinkle a bit, especially on the back of my legs, but I took pride in maintaining my figure for a while, and when I had sex during our marriage, I swear she enjoyed it. I kept my tough guy appearance through my 30s and would still wear my bandana during sex, which was a turn on for her. I was generous and always went down on her when she wanted me to. I used cock rings to maintain erections, and I could always orgasm extra hard, which was a fetish of hers. If I tried my best, by definition I couldn't do anything else. As time went by though, I started to think about the idea that at an older age sex wasn't too important, and about 5 years ago I started dating again. We don't have an active sex life, but she assured me that there was nothing wrong with me. I remarried last year, which made me so happy, but unfortunately that's when I got my cancer diagnosis. Since then, I've lost a lot of energy, and my new wife is the only one that keeps me going. We are trying chemo, but the future looks bleak. In my remaining days, I want to share some knowledge I've collected over the years to make the world a better place. My mental abilities are also slowly waning, so I need to do this before it's too late. I hope all reading this can learn something from me to make their life better.
Wow, thank you for sharing, OP. You know, you should keep a journal and write down all of the life lessons that you've learned when you remember them. That way, you can pass it down to a younger family member or friends that you think will benefit from it. It could be one of the legacies you can leave behind. I wish you the best of luck and try to stay positive, OP. I'm glad you have a loving wife now. It seems like you truly deserve to have someone so caring, finally. It's a shame no one told you years ago, but she used the classic manipulation and gaslighting. When someone is caught cheating on their partner, they don't take responsibility and they instead find a way to blame or diminish the person they cheated on, the very person who still cares for them. By doing so, she makes it not about her anymore. Instead of you being on the mindset to make her face the consequences, she retains power over you by making you feel like shit. Even in non-cheating situations, it can still happen if you're in a relationship with a piece of shit human being. And for people who haven't experienced it before, it will be very difficult to spot. Seriously, it's just about them not being able to deal with the consequences of their actions. It's not your fault, OP. It never was. You were never the problem. Your cheating ex-wife was. I don't know if what I said will give you closure, but I truly hope the best for you, OP. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you even somewhat enjoyed today's story, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you really like it, make sure to subscribe to PattSun to never miss a future upload. Stay strong.